Well, hello. Welcome to Orchid Bloom's podcast. Welcome back, bloomers. I am your host, Orchid Brown, with Orchid Bloom's podcast. You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, and X at Orchid Eye Brown. A new blog post is now available on taonetwork.ca/blog called Double-Edged Nature of Empathy. So visit the site and have a quick read. I had mentioned in the previous podcast episode that I was definitely going to write a blog post about the double-edged nature of empathy, and I actually did. So take a read, and I hope you enjoy it. This week's podcast episode is on stress addict. This topic popped up in my mind months ago, so I decided to meditate on it because the question that I had was, can we become addicted to stress? I mean, why would anyone want to be addicted to stress? But I was very curious about it because I wanted to know if I was addicted to stress. So let's see if we can answer that question in this podcast episode. So what is stress? World Health Organization defines stress as a state of worry or mental tension caused by difficulty. Stress is a natural human response that prompts us to address challenges and threats in our lives. As I was reading this definition, I thought that's a lot of work. To be in that state all day, every day, depending on, the jobs or career you have, is intense. I am 100% certain that performing like that for a long period of time would cause a person to develop illnesses. Our body is not supposed to be performing at that level all the time. It is dangerous. Now, upon me saying this, I'm thinking, I don't know why I'm even saying that, because I've noticed that I attract high stress jobs. Maybe I attract these jobs because I believe that high stress jobs pay better, and my mind just associate better pay with a lot of work. Yet, whenever I truly look at people that are making a lot of money, they're not really working that hard. So I have no idea where this concept came from. It could be from my childhood. When you grow up in a home where you're taught to work hard, you're a black girl, you have to be twice as good. So, we were like programmed as children to work hard, and that's the only way we will see success. And then we go out into the real world, and then we see people who, for example, don't really have our skin color, and they do the bare minimum and get paid a shit ton of money. And so it really just kind of, your mind just cannot comprehend, because you were raised on this thought process. It was pushed onto you. If you want to be successful, you have to work hard. You have to be stressed. You have to be broken. That's the only way you're going to reach success. And then you meet these people and they're just laxed. They have their beautiful house. They have their cottages. They have their boat. They go on maybe 3 vacations a year, and they go to like expensive European places. And so you just don't know what to think. And then as I speak to these people and I get to know them, you would think that they were just super intelligent, and that's the reason why they are working in such a high paying position. But then when you get to know them, you realize they're just not that intelligent. So you start to wonder, why did you get the job? Why are people paying you money to be kind of dumb? Things that should be common sense really isn't common sense for these people. It's almost as though they just can't see anything that's in front of them. And they just kind of pacify it with a smile and a laugh and a joke. And I thought, okay, maybe that's what they're being paid for, to be clueless, to be able to just kind of brush things off. Maybe whomever promoted them into this position of making a lot of money believes that they're charismatic. but really they just know how to dodge certain questions, and they know how to kind of brush things off, and they use their niceness to kind of get out of situation. And maybe these people think it's a skill that requires a lot, not requires, but deserves to be paid such a high sum of money. And so I thought there must be more to it, because they clearly went to university. They've gotten, this super fantastic degree, but they're dumb. And it just didn't add up. It just didn't make any sense. I could not make any sense of it. And then I realized, okay, maybe what I have been taught is due to their environment, my parents, their environment of scarcity, of always being stressed out and trying to figure out, where the next paycheck's going to come from, how they're going to cover their bills. And so they develop this mindset or this idea in their mind that if they work really hard, they will be able to be as successful as the people that they're seeing around them, not realizing that these people are not as stressed. They don't put as much work into what they're doing. They're not trying to kill themselves for the job. And for some apparent reason, those are the people that get promoted. Those are the type of people that live a more abundant life. They didn't see it because they were just so stuck in the worry, the anxiety, the stress. And so it just kind of conditioned them to think that I have to keep going, I have to keep pushing, I have to keep running, I have to kill myself to accomplish this. And then they go home and they pass it down to their children and say, you have to be. And the stress and the anxiety just kind of programs now this child to believe that this is what success is supposed to look like. To be stressed, to be worried all the time, to be anxious, to not be happy, to always be complaining about pains and aches and complaining about your job. I don't feel that with this fear-mongering, stress-based kind of mindset or thought has ever made them happy or successful. And they just decided as parents to take the emotions out of it. You're not supposed to be happy when you're working towards success. That you have to struggle. That is what success means. Struggle and be in pain. And it took me forever to realize that was not the case based on the people that I was meeting. The people that I met just seemed unbothered. They did not seem tied up in the drama or the bullshit with their job. They didn't seem to be, they didn't put so much importance on certain things that were happening around them. It's almost like they were able to kind of separate what's important from what's not important, what's relevant from what's not relevant. And they tried not to occur any more stress in their lives because they realized that it hindered their success. And that's what I've learned by observing these people, because, I'm an observer and I look at people in society as animals in the animal kingdom. They seem to have this belief system that everything is going to work out, and they just manifest that into their lives, and they never seem to need to really worry. You've never seen them stressed or sweating ever. And they just don't seem to worry. Like, if it works out, it works out. They just know when to look at a situation and say, this is out of my control, just let it happen and we'll figure it out. And they're just relaxed. And it just used to bother me because, again, that's not how I was raised. And trying to learn this concept that I see them applying to their lives every single day was very difficult for me to do because, again, that's years of programming from childhood, from your parents programming this into your mind, into your head. How it takes forever to break that. It really does. So I felt that my stress and my worry and my anxiety was due to this lesson that I've been taught for so long that is not working for me anymore. It is not serving me in any way. And I am trying to teach myself to be unbothered, to just not care about things that don't serve me in any way. It's not paying my bills. Why should I care? You know what I'm saying? So it's taken me some time to figure that part out. But I do still find myself falling backwards into old habits. And habits are the hardest to break. It sucks because it feels as though I'm going to have to dedicate the same amount of years that my parents took drilling this into my head. I'm now going to have to take that same length of time to deprogram myself, because that's what it is. We've been programmed into thinking this way, and it has not been to our success. It has not been for our benefit. So as I was stating, I have learned over the years that high stress jobs does not mean more money. We tend to have poor money management with high stress jobs. And I'm saying this from experience. So I found it made me poorer than richer going after stress-induced positions. Clearly, I shouldn't be working in high stress environments, but attracting high stress jobs has become a bad habit for me, which I'm still trying to break, but it's going to take some time. We dig a hole and then we do too much to fix it. High stress. That's my definition of high stress, is digging a hole and then doing too much to fix it. Now, why are people addicted to stress? I feel that I may have been addicted to stress, but it could be my ADHD. And I keep confusing a lot of things that I think I'm struggling with my ADHD. Maybe that's because I don't understand it very well. So I clearly need to take the time to learn about ADHD so that I can stop asking myself these damn questions. So what does it mean? Stress addiction. Stress addiction refers to a pattern of behavior where one consciously or unconsciously seeks out stress-induced situation to experience the physical or emotional impact of stress. Now, this is very odd, but why would somebody do that to themselves? That's the question. Who wants to feel stress all the time? I don't, but some people do. And when I really look back at the fact that I keep acquiring or going after high stress jobs, clearly there's something about these high stress jobs that make me feel or think that being in these jobs will make me successful. But time and time again, it has shown that I really wasn't successful in these high stress jobs. Yes, I performed very well, but it really affected my mental health. And on top of that, it affected me emotionally, physically, and mentally. And so I just didn't understand why I was attracted to that. So I had to ask myself the question, am I addicted to stress? So the question is, why? So looking it up and doing a little bit of research, it said the benefits that could come from stress may include a feeling of excitement, overcoming challenges, facing fears, and reaching a goal. All of that was very true for me. Very, very, very true. I felt successful being in a stress-induced environment because I always accomplished my goals. I liked the fact that I was learning something new and I was trying to become the best at it. I wanted to be basically the expert. And I enjoyed that aspect of a high-stress environment. But over time, that's when it really starts to wear on your body, becomes wear and tear. You could be sitting at a desk and it's a high stress environment, but it still affects you even though your body isn't physically moving all the time. It still becomes a problem. I find that when I was stressed and pissed, because they always went together. Every single time I'm stressed, I'm also pissed off. But yeah, maybe that's my body and my mind's way of telling me that we can't keep staying in this place. We can't keep revisiting this place so often. So I'm going to be pissed about it because you keep putting yourself in this situation. I'm learning. I'm learning. I become very focused and overcome all of my challenges, face my fears, and I also reach my goals because the combination of the stress and the anger at the same time just makes me highly motivated. And it sucks that I rely on that most of the time. I accomplish so much and I feel so accomplished after getting out all of my frustrations through work. It just makes me feel like I'm on top of the world. And that is no way to live. So I need to find a healthy way to do just that without putting my body in danger. ProspectiveHolisticTherapy.com states the reward of ongoing stress can serve as a hit of dopamine or a dose of acceptance and approval, leading to ignoring other warning signs such as poor health or concerned friends. So yeah, it really does feel like I'm getting high off of stress as well as being angry. And I do feel accomplished, just like I said. So again, accomplishments and acceptance they come hand in hand. And I feel that I've earned my own approval. Like, look what I can do. And I've proven that to myself because I don't look for outside validation. So I could care less if my boss comes over and says, you did such a good job today. Like, you were really good. Like, I'd be like, oh, okay, thanks. I actually don't care for them to tell me that. The only person's validation I'm looking for is mine, you know? But again, I did find myself ignoring the warning signs. The fact that, I need more than 8 hours of sleep, or the difficulty waking up in the morning to get to work because deep down, like, I don't want to go back to that place, that state of mind. All of these things have been happening for years and I just can't get out of attracting and going after or chasing high stress environment. A number of factors contribute to the development of stress addiction, including personality, culture, emotional regulation skills, and history of stressful experience, which that's what I struggle with. Common traits in those dealing with stress addiction include perfectionism, lack of social support, low self-esteem, and unresolved trauma or grief. I can definitely say that unresolved trauma has contributed to my addiction to stress. High demand jobs, lack of coping skills, poor self-care, and a belief that ties self-worth to the feeling of stress can pave the way to stress addiction if left unchecked. The site states that stress is not a bad thing. I mean, tell that to the many people whose health is suffering due to stress and their bank account for all the medications they have to buy, right? It's not a bad thing. Stress leads to medical issues, but that's just me, right? That's just me. The site states it can be an incredible motivator, which is very true, and work as part of our body's overall system of checks and balances. However, when someone continues to seek out more work, more projects, more accomplishments in light of negative personal consequences, those are signs of possible stress addiction. That last sentence made me feel that maybe, just maybe, I am not addicted to stress because I don't look for more work. I don't try to get on projects. I don't care about any of that stuff. All I care about is doing my job currently and just getting the fuck out. That's literally how I'm feeling and how I'm thinking these days. I'm not trying to add more work. I'm looking for my return on investment. If I am going to take on more work or, join projects. Listen, I need an entire timeline of exactly what I'm going to get for doing all of this. I don't want to I don't want to hear it could lead to this. I don't want to hear that. I want to hear a definite, this is what's going to happen. And by this time, you will be here. You will make more money. If that is not something that's provided, you will not catch me doing more work and you will not see me joining any projects. But it did take me some time to get to that conclusion. So it's not just something that automatically came out of the blue. I definitely, after some time and after years of trying to deprogram myself, decided that a return on investment is much more beneficial for me than doing stuff and hoping for the best. No, I need definite. That's what I need, because my physical body, my emotions, and my mental state require me to receive what I desire, what I'm being promised, for the abuse, for what I'm doing for myself, because you're asking me to sacrifice myself. I better get my return. I better. If not, find somebody else. Some sucker will fall for it. Here are some questions that will help us to identify if we are addicted to stress. Number 1, are you always seeking out stressful situations, even when they come at a cost to your personal life or health? Number 2, do you find yourself consistently overwhelmed with deadlines and commitments, yet unable to say no to taking on more work? If so, you may be addicted to stress. Other signs to look out for include feeling restless or bored, without stress, of course, struggling to relax or unwind, and using stress as a way to avoid dealing with other emotions or issues. Well, after doing a little research, it did encourage me or other people to seek help if we are experiencing this, such as therapists or support group. The site that I was looking at also shared the type of therapy or therapies that would be most effective, such as acceptance and commitment therapy. It's called ACT, or the acronym. Mindfulness-based cognitive therapy is the second one that it had suggested. So if you are currently seeing a therapist, you can definitely talk to them about these two therapies that could help you with your stress addiction. Now, because stress and anxiety sometimes goes hand in hand like best friends, people can also become addicted to worry and anxiety, which, again, they're all connected. Our brain can learn to crave the sensation of worry. So I decided to throw that into the podcast because some of us may not be addicted to stress. We could be addicted to worry and anxiety. Some people can't tell the difference. I would not have been able to tell the difference personally because, again, to me, they're like best friends. I spent years worrying, and as much as I am a bit calm now, it affected me for years. I even started to suffer from anxiety. I struggled with anxiety until spring of this year. Then something just clicked inside of me. And all I heard in my head was, this is not worth it. Being in this state never served me. So why am I still trying to hold on to this state? It's not making me happy. Let it go. Let's just let it go. And that just happened out of nowhere. And I'm so thankful for that. I lost sleep. Insomnia became my life. I felt so unhealthy. I felt like all I did was make bad choices, but I knew better. I knew my choices weren't wrong. I just could not do what I was doing anymore. I just couldn't do it. I needed to make a change because I became too comfortable in the state of worry, in the state of stress, in my anxiety. In order to start making positive changes, I needed to use the 3 Ps of recovery, which are patience, persistence, and perseverance. Persistence and perseverance are things that I feel I mastered during constant stress. But patience, I struggle with every day. Learning to be patient with oneself is the most difficult thing I have ever encountered in my entire life. I want things to happen right now, not later, right now. Clearly, I'm spoiled. I have to teach myself that healing takes time and my progress may not be linear. I have to be gentle with myself, which is something I have never done. I always put myself last and above everything else. Or sorry, not really above anything else. I put it below everything else. Being patient while actively accepting the process required to get to my desired outcome. Persistence is adapting a mindset of resilience, tirelessly working towards personal health goals despite hurdles and setbacks. It feels the journey through those ups and downs, ensuring we remain steadfast in our commitment to heal and improve, regardless of the challenges we face. Patience can foster self-forgiveness, reducing feelings of guilt or shame that may associate with past actions and behavior. This promotes emotional healing. We are not defined by our mistakes, which is what I was teaching myself. I have made a lot of mistakes that led me down the path of worrying, anxiety, and stress. Mistakes have become my lesson, and I've learned from those mistakes. With compassion fatigue, we have to fight through that or direct our compassion inwards. Use it on ourselves. This compassion stems towards oneself can significantly decrease feeling of guilt and shame, increase self-esteem, and boost motivation for change. I don't feel I need to share my detailed plan on how to pursue healing and recovery because we're all different. We have to design ways to make our own plans work. At the core, the 3 Ps has to be the pillars: patience, persistence, and perseverance. So this concludes this podcast episode. I hope this was helpful in paving a course that will release your shackles and free yourself from stress, worry, and anxiety. And of course, addiction. Thank you for supporting the Orchid Blues podcast. Please subscribe, follow, rate, and leave a review on the podcast or your favorite episode. We also have social media pages, so subscribe and follow Orchid Bloom's YouTube channel, The Ambitious Obsession Network on Facebook, at The Ambitious Ops on Twitter or X, at The Ambitious Net on Instagram. Don't forget to share your favorite podcast episode with your family and your friends, and I hope you have a splendid day.